Kendo Podcast episode 143. In this episode, I want to talk about for old dogs to learn new tricks. Kendo Podcast by Hiro Mafuji from KendoGuide.com. Thank you for listening. This podcast is about Japanese martial arts Kendo for Kendo lovers and supported by Kendo enthusiasts through Patreon.com. Thank you for your support, guys. Please visit KendoGuide.com for more Kendo information and how to support KendoGuide.com. Welcome to Kendo Podcast episode 143. Happy New Year! And today is January 21st, recording this at the moment. And how is your New Year been? My New Year was, I was actually in Japan having New Year's Day, and I got really sick, so I have to go to emergency room in Japan. And the second day of the New Year, I rested all day because I had a plan with my family, my kids and my wife, going to Kyoto. So I took, those medicine to get the fever down, and oh man, that was good because I was taking medicine, so I didn't have fever and it all, but I kept taking medicine, and then I came back around 11th, I think. And over the weekend of that, I got sick and I had asthma attack, and I had to go to the emergency room on the following Monday. So it's not been good. I'm still having trouble with breathing, but my asthma is under control now. So I am recording this. I hope I don't cough too much. If I cough, please forgive me. I'm not still 100% healthy at the moment. But otherwise, my year is good. It's a beginning of the year, and then I wanted to be good, but things happen. And things happened, and let it go, and my New Year starts right now. All right. Now, out of blue, I want you to imagine Mona Lisa. Don't say what it is, but if you don't know Mona Lisa, I'll explain later. Just imagine Mona Lisa for a while. Okay, now, if you know Mona Lisa, or if you don't know Mona Lisa, maybe you imagine some kind of, maybe a lady. But it is a lady, and a lady with a smile looking at you. This drawn by Leonardo da Vinci a long time ago. And, some just saw in your head just this lady, looking at you, smiling, a lady. And probably others saw more, her in more details, like, how she wears her hair, and very vivid. The length of her hair. I didn't know how long her hair was until until I prepared this podcast. And, how she rests her right hand on her left hand. I knew she was doing something, but I didn't know how she did it, how she was doing it. And the color of her clothes, it's kind of blackish, but it's not all black. Of course, they have like light black, dark black, and how she wears her clothes. And the background, I didn't imagine any background when I did this exercise. There was a lake-like water area. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm sorry if you know arts better than me, or probably a lot of people knows art better than a lot of people know arts better than me. If it's not a lake, please forgive me. like rocky hills behind her and a windy road. I didn't really know that. So, it depends on your knowledge of her, or knowledge of the art. It really changes, right? In detail, just Mona Lisa, just a lady smiling, from lady smiling to, if you know Mona Lisa very well, you can have all the details, right? So, but if you didn't know Mona Lisa, this is a Kendo podcast, so let's talk about it with Kendo. So imagine Menkai Shudo, if you're an advanced Kendoist. And if you're a beginner, well, what about big men strike or small men strike with good Kentaichi? Can you imagine? Just imagine. Okay? You don't have to, just imagine, so it's a boom, like that in your head. Okay, so beginner, if you're a beginner, the first, did you have a motodachi? Motodachi is a receiver. Did you have a good kiai? How was your posture? Did you have good posture? How was your distance? Did you imagine where you were striking? Did you you just mental pictures. So as long as, if it's a mental picture or mental video, motion picture, that's even better. But where you're striking is very important. That means that where you should strike it from. And how your shinai moves together with the footwork. How did you do it? Did you do it good? At the moment of striking, how was your posture? Did you feel the impact? Did you really feel the impact? How did it look like when you strike? What about your positions of your hands? Head angle. Are you looking up, or were you looking straight towards your opponent, or your chin was tucked in? How did you pass through? Did you pass through, or did you bump into your opponent or motodachi? Either way, that's good. But if you passed through, did your motodachi move towards his right or his or her right? Well, how did he do it? Okay, so these are, I want to, next time you imagine your good strike, big or small, with a good Kentaichi, I want you to imagine details like that. Pictures, motion pictures is good because we do it in a certain sequence, right? Okay, advanced people, some, of course, I'm not a position to advise you, but this probably help you to teach your students. Okay, like Menkai Shido. It's important. We all know timing is important. How about timing? To get the timing, we have to know how we lead our opponent to strike. Our man, right? So, did you imagine that? Or, how did your opponent strike in you? How did he strike you or her strike you? Like the angle of their main strike, or like how did he come in? Did he come in just striking men in a certain position, or did he press your shinai down and strike men, or did you open your men? Okay, and how did you receive your opponent's main strike? Which part of your shinai did you use, and which part of your opponent's shinai did you receive? And, as I said, angles of your opponent's strikes. And what about your angle, your shinai angle when you received? Okay, was it, and how far from your body Was it too close? Was it too? It depends on where your opponents were striking, right? And your posture while receiving, and after you strike, together with footwork. How did you do it? Is it right foot going forward, going to the side, or going backwards? Depends on opponent, right? And after that, how did you take zanshin? So these are the sequences of Menkai-shido, for example. And if you picture it, motion picture it in your head, we don't have to verbalize these things. You can imagine, but sometimes the image is not vivid enough, right? But I want you just giving you the taste of how you can do it in your head. Okay? So how vivid and how detailed is important. Now, why am I sharing this? According to the book called Peak, written by Andres Eriksson and Robert Paul, I introduced this book a while ago, but since I was sick, I had a good long time to study this again. And the exercise, what we did is called mental representations. And the mental representation helps us to make faster, more accurate decisions and respond more quickly and effectively in a given situation, right? So the peak mental representation, the vivid and more detailed the mental representations are, we can have even faster and even more accurate decision making, and even faster response and even more effective response we can do. Well, theoretically. Okay, what's got to do with old dogs learning new tricks? Good question. Okay, so mental representations, like we've been talking about, high level or high grade holders have clear and vivid mental representations on what they do. So, if we verbalize what are the sequence of the movements as we did, we know what we should be doing, right? But if you can imagine mental representation, those image well, we know what exactly we should be doing. Okay, so what do the old dogs have to do is now. Okay, so we have to learn new skills. What do we have to do? We all dogs have to do. Now it's very clear. We practice Kendo movements until we can create clear mental representations of the target movements. Okay, just like what we did. Okay, so what do we do? How do we do that? So what should we do to do that, right? So in the book, Peak, they explained that number one, identify what should be done. Of course, this is a target movement. We have to identify what we should be done, right? And number two, the object should be skills, not knowledge, all right? We're not learning, like I said, the theory is important, but the skills, we have to do it, right? Now three, exam how experts do it. Okay, now what does it mean? Understand the mental representations that experts use. Okay, probably that you need. If you're a learner, you need instructors' help. So instructors, if you're an instructor, can teach the skill to help students similar mental representations. So we have one technique, but we need skills to accomplish that technique. So we have to help, as me as an instructor and as a student, you have to listen so you know what's going on, right? So instructor is trying to help you to create this mental image that expert has. And instructors teach the skills step by step. This should be out of their comfort zone, out there as in students, comfort zone, but not so far out that they cannot master the step. So each step has to be clear and it's out of their, abilities a little bit, but challenging in other words. So otherwise they get bored, apparently. So, but students don't get bored if it's too not too challenging, but this is important steps. And I'm going to tell you what should be done afterwards. Now, and then number 4, give plenty of repetition and feedback. So I think in Kendo we are lacking this feedback. Me, I should say. I don't really give feedback. So probably I should. And probably we have to learn how to give feedback as well. I'm going to talk about it. After I learned something, I will talk about it. But repetition, we all know repetition is very important. Now, so I talked about 1 through 4, identify what should be done. 2, object should be the skills, the knowledge. 3, examine how experts do it. And 4, give plenty of repetition and feedback. Now, the training should be a cycle of try. You have to try, right? Instructor, students have to try and they fail, right? And they fail means we fail, instructors. And let's go with feedback. Different feedback, different way to do it and to accomplish one skill, right? The same skill. Now, this is called deliberate practice according to the book. Okay? So we have to have a vivid goal, mental representations. This should be done. This is what experts, high grade holders, the top athlete in Kendo do it. Now, how can we accomplish it? Instructors or students, maybe if you don't have high grade holders as your instructor, maybe you guys talk about it, right? And I try to make it so everyone can share how I did, maybe. But anyway, so we can do it if the movements are broken into pieces. It's not that hard. The important thing is this: if you can connect these movements together. So we really have to have mental representations. So you know how you should be moving. And to accomplish that move, we have feet movement, posture, how you stand. A good posture is not good enough. What is your good posture? How it should be done? How you should be accomplished? What's the skill you need to accomplish good posture? I think we really need to break things down into real tiny pieces. So this is what I learned from the peak. So if you want to read the book, I will make sure I will have the link to the peak. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And for members at patreon.com/Kendo For Life, I will share my notes of this. Okay, and if you're not a member at Patreon, please consider to be one. That will help me financially and that will help me to create more contents to help you with. So please consider to be one this year. And I hope this year will be a great one for you. And let's learn Kendo together. And I hope we can find something so we can improve Kendo more quickly, I hope. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next podcast. I would like to send special thanks to patrons for their constant support through patreons.com/Kendo For Life.